Senator Duckworth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for holding today's hearing on the implementation of FAST Act freight and passenger rail programs. And Mr. Anderson, Mr. Jefferies, I'd like to start with you. Last week, I extended an invitation to the heads of FRA, NHTSA, and FMCSA to meet with me to discuss their ideas and priorities for surface transportation reauthorization. I think it would also be helpful to discuss industry and quasi-governmental perspectives. Would you each come to my office in the coming weeks to discuss your specific ideas and priorities for this surface transportation reauthorization?
Absolutely, would love to.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson and Mr. Jefferies, implementation of PTC continues to be my primary focus, as it is for many of my colleagues for the rail industry. The December 2020 deadline is right around the corner, and while significant progress has been made, I'm still concerned about the interoperability component, specifically in dynamic areas like Northeastern Illinois. Mr. Jefferies, are you still confident that the interoperability issue will be fully addressed before December 31st, 2020?
I am. As you know, we've briefed your office on a few occasions, and as issues come up, we've been able to work through those. And you're absolutely right. Chicago is the epicenter of interoperability, and we've got an interoperability working group amongst industry, including all stakeholders. So we're working through it and have full confidence.
Mr. Anderson, are you equally optimistic?
Yes, we have great relationships with the freight railroads, and our last mile of PTC implementation for Amtrak-owned tracks is a mile going into Chicago Union Station. And we are on schedule to have that completed on time. If I could, just note for the committee, the real challenge for PTC implementation by the deadline is going to be commuter railroads, particularly in the Northeast Corridor. And Ron Vittori has actually done a very good job marshaling everybody. There's a big summit meeting in July at the FRA to get the heads of all those railroads and Amtrak together to make sure they're going to hit the deadline.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jefferies, I assume AAR supports raising funding levels for both the freight formula program, the infra grant program, and eliminating the caps on non-highway spending under both programs. Is that a correct statement? With the AAR, does AAR support?
Yeah, the AAR absolutely supports the federal grant funding programs, multimodal programs. They've been enormously helpful to programs like CREATE, and our members have been active contributors in those projects. So yes.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson, last week, FRA Administrator Vittori, for whom I have the highest respect, highlighted that Amtrak's nationwide on-time performance is 77.9% and on par with U.S. airlines. Sounds pretty good, but as you've testified many times today, that's really not the true story when you scratch beneath the surface. So let me give some figures. The Chicago to San Francisco Zephyr line is actually 48.8% on time. Southwest Chief, 47%. Empire Builder, 46.3% on time. New Orleans, 45.1%. Capital Limited, 41%. Texas Eagle, 39%. And dead last, the Saluki line from Chicago down to Southern Illinois, 35% on-time performance. I myself have been stuck on that train, oftentimes for hours at a time, parked on a side track. Reliability is the entire game, as you have mentioned, for passenger and commuter rail. It doesn't matter if there's 1 train per day or 10 trains per day, if your customers cannot rely on that train to arrive on time as scheduled. As you have said, they might as well drive or book a flight. It's that simple. Last week, I pressed Administrator Vittori to direct his staff to be more engaged on the short shunting issue, in particular on the Saluki line, and I'm confident that he will keep that commitment. I am, however, curious if Amtrak is experiencing this signal activation issue in other areas of the country and on other rail lines. Has Amtrak experienced short shunting issues elsewhere in the nation?
The real place we've experienced short shunting issues is on the line you've described. We did have some of the trouble, I think, on the Hoosier line, but the state of Indiana has discontinued the Hoosier service. So I think it's been principally there, and Ron Vittori's been really good about pressing the host railroad to come up with solutions.
So did you ever find a solution for the Hoosier line, or you never did?
We haven't found a solution. The solution that they've told us is to put more cars on the train and just haul more empty cars in the hope of closing the circuit, which seems goofy, but it's what we're doing.
Okay. I am deeply concerned, and I hope that we can really, it's been years. And we
Yes.
need to troubleshoot this. And he has said that he will commit to,
He's been good about it.
yeah.
He has been.
But you really haven't seen this anywhere else.
No, I don't know. I don't think we have. Missouri. Stephen says in Missouri on the Union Pacific a little bit, but.
Perhaps you
this-
can supplement
Yep.
the record and check with staff on that.
Yes,
Thank you very much. Thank you, Senator Duckworth.
thank you.